Hi there, this is Rob, and this is the 2-minute overnight overview for Wednesday. As usual, I'll be reviewing yesterday's odds, last night's action, and some research for tonight. First, looking at Tuesday afternoon's odds sheet, you can see that there were mildly bullish inclinations suggested. Most of the major index securities that we tracked did not meet the minimum criteria for a long trade. The lone exception was Dow futures. As I pointed out in the trade room, a primary reason that Dow futures looked better than the rest was due to their internals odds. I tend to put a little less faith in Dow internals since it only measures action among 30 stocks rather than over 1,000 stocks like the other internals numbers. ES numbers are the ones I am most concerned with, since as a security I trade. ES price action looked bullish, but internals were break even, and seasonality was somewhat bearish. All told, the numbers just weren't strong enough to paint a compelling picture, especially since I'd be using the smaller target amount thanks to the weak seasonality. So it was a no-go for me, and in this case that turned out to be a good thing. Let's take a look at the overnight action, you can see why. After closing at 1397.50, futures are basically spent the entire night below there. And as the morning progressed, things continued to get worse. The open this morning saw ES gap down a full 7 points below yesterday's close. So far this morning, the sell-ins continued, so I thought I would take a look at other instances where ES closed down 3 days in a row, immediately after having closed up at least 3 days in a row, and at a 10-day high. I also added a long-term trend filter. Here are the results. Fourteen of the 22 instances saw ES gap up the next day. Gaps down on average were a little larger though, so the profit factor for longs was only 1.5. These numbers appear to suggest a moderate upside edge. Let's take a look at the profit curve. It's definitely choppy, but seems to be stair-stepping higher. I wouldn't get too excited about this particular study, but it could perhaps provide some additional confirmation of an upside edge if other evidence also points that way. Thanks for listening, and rest easy.